What's up everyone, V here, and today I am very excited to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack. This is, of course, Toby Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland Spideys as they appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home, a movie that I am passionately in love with. I've only seen it once because, since it's a Spidey movie, they don't drop it on Disney+, but by God, believe me, I've watched the Spidey scenes a gazillion times on YouTube. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's without a shadow of a doubt. This movie is the only other movie in my life that will probably ever even happen that even got close to the hype that Endgame had. Literally, when those leaks and rumors of Andrew and Toby appearing in this movie were flying around, I swear it was the greatest moment, one of the greatest moments in my entire life. Just that hype for this movie. I went in skeptical. There's that one picture of Andrew Garfield that looked literally spot on. And then Andrew Garfield was like, "Guys, it wasn't me. I'm not the werewolf." But a bunch of other leaks stopped. And then while I was watching the movie, the one Matt Murdock shot showed up, and I was like, oh my god, that means that these two are actually probably going to appear in the movie, and they did. And I kid you not, when that portal opened and I saw the eyes, I was like, hold up, those aren't Tom Holland Spidey's eyes, that's Garfield. And then I saw him jump through the portal. My god, tears were coming out of my eyes. I don't think any moment can be as exciting as that. I was more excited for Andrew Garfield, not to slight Toby, but I grew up in the era right after the Toby trilogy finished, but right before, Andrew's movie started. So I kind of have a vague connection to Toby, but I have a way more stronger connection to Andrew Garfield, especially The Amazing Spider-Man 2. A lot of people say that the movie's awful, but I have a very strong emotional connection to that movie, and that's why I love Andrew Garfield. I love those movies, and that's why he used to be my favorite Spidey. But I will say I do think Tom Holland is the best of both worlds. He was a great Peter, but his Spidey just always felt a bit uncomfortable, and wasn't really it didn't feel very comfortable in the Spidey skin. He was perfect as Spidey, but I feel like his Peter Parker was way too cool looking. But Tom Holland mixed the worlds perfectly. He was great as Spidey and both Peter Parker, so he's my favorite, although I do have a huge soft spot for the Garf. But yeah, this is the 3-pack that they announced 1 year ago. They were like, yeah, there's this awesome 3-pack, and I was losing my mind because they have not made anything from this movie, and it's been 2 years. And then they announced that 3-pack, and I was like, oh my god, so hype! Oh my god, I have to wait till next year to get it. But I pre-ordered it, and I never pre-order anything. And when I got the notification, that email that Hasbro Pulse was saying, yo, fam, this thing shipped. Oh my god, I was freaking out. When I saw that box out in front of my house, I was losing my mind. And I'm going to say it right off the bat, these are some of the best Marvel Legends I've ever owned. This single-handedly might be my new favorite Marvel Legends. I love them so much. And there's a lot to get through. We're reviewing all 3 of them in the video, so prepare for a long one. I mean, you probably saw the length of the video if you clicked on it. And hopefully you're still here. I know I ramble on a bit in the beginning, but I like to talk about the source material a bit first to give my thoughts on it. And also, when it's something like this that I passionately love, I just get lost, But we'll take a look at the packaging, of course, first, like we always do. And this box, of course, is pretty big. If it's a weird cut, I took a drink of water. It's 1,000,000 degrees in this room. I'm dying. I don't got air conditioning or fan on, so there's no background noise. But yeah, if there's some weird cuts or pauses and weird noises in the back, it's probably because I'm taking a drink of water. But anyway, this box is pretty big, of course, since it's a 3-pack. It'd be big. Here it is next to the original release of this figure, because spoiler alert, this figure's not really new as a normal Marvel Legends box. It's it's of course pretty big, and of course you get a beautiful shot of that beautiful shot of them landing on the Statue of Liberty, all three of them together. Oh my god, that swing! Oh my god! I could talk about this movie for hours and how much I love it. I don't care if the writing is not that great or the CGI is dicey. It brought me so much joy seeing all three of them together. I hope to God we see it again. Anyway, this is of course a 3D render. I'll tell you right now, getting these guys in these poses is insanely difficult. But you got Toby, you got Tom, you got Andrew, Marvel Legends, 4+, warning choking hazards, not for children under 3. But to be fair, the set's like $100 in an online exclusive. How many children are actually going to be having this? Marvel Studios Spider-Man No Way Home. On the side, you get a beautiful shot of them swinging. And some like electricity with the sand because of Electro and all that. By the way, there's a rumored wave, like a No Way Home wave, that will drop probably when we're all elderly people in the year like 2100. But apparently they're gonna put these three in that wave, just I think unmasked, maybe masked and unmasked. But I didn't want to wait till then. I wanted them now, and also the paint will probably be better on these ones than the actual like main release, because it's a premium set. I'm justifying $100 purchase, and it's worth it though. It's worth it. I love them so much. Then you got an actually different shot on the, like a more frontward facing shot of all of them. For some reason, Toby's mask looks like the one from his trilogy. I'll talk about his mask when we get to it. Marvel Legends, and on the back, another slightly different shot. Toby's not on that shot, but it's another 3D render of them and all of their accessories. Again, no unmasked heads, but I think we will be getting those when they are released again in that one wave. And I don't care, I'll buy them again. I love them so much. And then that same like Spidey symbol. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I will be reviewing them. Like, I'm gonna do one at a time, and I'm gonna go in the my least favorite to my favorite. Spoiler alert, they're all good. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. But we're gonna be starting off with Tom Holland's Spidey, because it's my least favorite. But that's no slight on this figure. This figure's amazing. When I first got it, the original release, I loved it so much. The first 5 minutes of having it out of the package were phenomenal. I deemed it my favorite Spidey, and then I tried to swap the head with the unmasked Peter Parker head, and I snapped the dumbbell joint, and his head came off. So I never really got to experience like this figure that much. So getting this guy was definitely worth it. I'm glad I didn't rebuy that figure, because this is the same figure, just painted miles better. Here is that. We'll get to comparisons later, but yeah, I have blue sticky tack. They are very different, though. So Tom comes with a couple accessories. They all come with this web effect. It's the same web effect, I believe, that comes with the Walmart exclusive No Way Home Spidey. But it's just some clear piece, got a clip at the end, and you got some like webbing, and then a little hook you can hook it on. And I'll tell you this right now. They do not come with hands to hold them. Like, they don't come with, like, open hands like this guy did, so that you can, like, hook it in his hand and have him hold it. None of them have that. So, right off the bat, these are kind of a useless accessory. I mean, I guess you can, like, fudge it over there and just pray it holds. But, like, come on. I mean, you might be able to, like, fudge it into this hand, and it might hold a bit better, and it looks like it's whipping, but still, I feel like it should have given them a hand to hold them. But still, I don't know how much of that was in focus, but yeah, there's three of them. I'll just talk about it right off the bat. There's three. They're the exact same. Case closed. On him right now, he has a fist hand and a thwipping hand. I feel like I need more light going on. Hold up. Right. So he's got a fist and a thwip, and he comes with 2 wall-crawling hands. I believe these are just the same hands that he had on the regular release of this figure, but it's kind of hard to tell. what's going on because of, like, the black. My camera doesn't pick up black too well. But yeah, and they did paint it correctly. I think he had black fingers with red up here on the original release. But yeah, he comes with some wall crawling hands. Note that these are basically the same hand, just on alternate sides. Make note of that later because the wall crawling hands get strange. And then, of course, he has alternate fist and thwip. So yeah, even though he is my least favorite out of them all, that just goes to show that the rest of them are so good. And people are like, why wasn't it like the final swingsuit? And I'm kind of glad they did this figure. I hope we do get that final swingsuit in, like, that upcoming No Way Home wave. But it's like, this is just a beautifully painted version of that already really good figure. Now, it does suck that they didn't fix some of the inaccuracies, like the gauntlets here. He doesn't have those in the movie. I mean, you could take them off, but then you got, like, a really awkwardly thin wrist. It doesn't bother me too much, and beyond that, I don't really care. He just looks really good. So right off the bat, I will be bringing this one in because they're the same figure. And I'll try to make it brief because there's a lot to get through. Just bear with me, it's going to be a long one. Right off the bat, they're actually very different. Like, you might think, like, oh, they just painted the webbing on him. No. I feel like every single color on him is different. Like, this is just a flat, plain gray. I'm, like, struggling with the lighting here. Like, this is like a flat, plain gray, but this is like a dark, bluish gray, which I think looks really good and way better. I feel like the red's slightly darker. I don't know if that's just the weathering. Not the weathering. The webbing, or not. And I think the golds are a bit brighter on this one. So, yeah, rather than that, I almost said rather than that. Rather than that, it's literally every single detail is the same on these figures. It's just one's got a bunch of webbing, and that webbing does make a difference. I do think, like, sometimes I'm like, man, I kind of prefer the Tom Holland ones to not have the webbing painted, since his webbing in the movies is just dark red, but it looks so good. We're just going to briefly go over him because he's like an older figure, but yeah, he got same head sculpt as before, but it looks really good, and that webbing, of course, is beautiful. It is a slight gray, if you were wanting to know. And then you come down to his spider symbol. That looks great. It's painted beautifully. The gold is nice and prominent and bright. This, of course, is still a little not perfectly painted, but it is what it is. Actually, I feel like it might be painted. Not still the same, but I do think it is a darker red on this. But yeah, and then you got like some like red details under the arms here. Come down to the back Spidey symbol. Looks really good. Then on his arms, got the red painted up there. Not the best, since it's being painted on, I think, black, but still. And this figure has a nice texture throughout the suit. It's not like this guy where the texture is just painted. It's like he's got the texture throughout, which I love. I love when Spideys have the textured suit. Got some more gold and red throughout. One thing they did change, though, is they painted the red across here, because on the original, it wasn't painted there on the joint. But yeah, it looks really good. You got the little lights there on the gauntlets, which is a separate piece. Again, you can remove them if you want. You got some red in there. Then come down to his hands, which look really good. Again, I'm rushing it, but, you know, we got a lot to get through. Then come down to his legs. They're just legs. They got a lot of nice sculpt work going throughout. And then you come down to his boots with some more gold around. I don't know if this is supposed to be painted black, because this part is. Kind of wish it was. I feel like it'd give it a cool aesthetic, but I don't know. Then come down to the rest of the webbing. So yeah, that's about it. I will do a size comparison in the end, but articulation, he's got a dumbbell joint, which, if you see my previous reviews, you know I hate Spidey and flying characters should not have dumbbell joints, because they can never look up well. But he looks up that far, down about that far, bobs, rotates, is very tight, but it does move out that far, rotates, does have a butterfly joint. It's not the best, but upper arm rotation, double jointed elbow, hinge in and out and rotation on all of his hands, ab crunch that moves that far forward, that far back, and they do continue the paint up there, which is nice, unlike 2099. And he's got a waist rotation, legs kick that far forward, don't really kick too far back because, of course, as we've seen from those photos, Tom Holland got cake. He can do about some pretty good splits, thigh rotation, double jointed knee, which kicks very far up, then an up and down, and a rocker. So he's got some really solid articulation, but it's nothing compared to the Spideys we shall be getting to right now. Again, trying to keep it fast because there's a lot of them. Next, we're going to be talking about Toby Maguire. Toby Maguire. Look at him. I don't own a Toby figure, so this is literally the first Toby Maguire Spidey I own. And that red is, the light is just, it's vicious on him. There we go. Yeah, this figure is of course, they're all great, but this figure, there's a fly. At least on the upper body, I think is the best out of them all. His legs kind of kill it because they're a bit awkward to pose, but I do believe that, at least articulation-wise, his upper body is phenomenal. But yeah, this of course is the No Way Home suit, so it has the weird, awkward mask, which kind of sucks, because it does look a bit weird. But it is what it is. They did base them off of No Way Home, so I don't know why they changed the mask. It's such an odd thing to do, because they didn't do it for Andrew, but it's like, I don't get it, but yeah. And this figure is really cool because if it were to focus, the webbing on him and Andrew is raised, because on most of the figures it's just indented in like Tom Holland's, but it's actually raised and it looks really good. The only downside is that the paint can get not perfectly lined up. Like on this side of the face, it's hard to tell because of the lighting, but like it looks more red on the side because it's not perfectly lined up, the silver. And there's some areas like here especially where the paint isn't perfectly lined up with the webbing, but I don't care. I'm glad he has raised webbing and he has a beautiful texture throughout the suit. So taking a look at that mask, even though it is the awkward shape, it does look really good. I love the silver webbing on him. It looks so good because I've never had a Toby Maguire Spidey figure, so this is just really awesome being able to finally have a Toby figure. Even if it is, again, the awkward mask, it still looks great. Yeah, I got the eyes there, and just everything is sculpted really well and painted, for the most part, really well, and you got that nice texture in there. It's always weird that he never had a webbing thing coming through the middle. He's the only Spidey that doesn't have that, but yeah. Coming down to his body, you got his nice Spidey symbol there, picked out in I'd say a gunmetal gray. Some people have said they think the silver's a bit too bright, but honestly, in person, it doesn't bother me. It looks really good, and it makes him stand out compared to the other Spideys, because like all the other Spideys either don't have webbing or have like gray or black, so having just this bright silver looks really good. And of course, if they really wanted to, they could just re-release this figure as just Toby Maguire Spidey from like the trilogy and just give it a new head. It always confuses me why they don't go back and just make figures from those movies. They can, I think, and they would sell like crazy, so I don't get why they don't. They're like, Hasbro, I literally gave you just an option to basically print money with this figure, and they don't want to. But yeah, it looks so good. Gets a little awkward because the ab crunch here. I wish they just had it just go straight, and I don't know why they had to have to curve out there. But yeah, it still looks really good. Oh, that looks beautiful. Coming down to the arms, you got more of that beautiful silver webbing. They got the blue on the inside with, again, really nice texture. On the back, you got his Spidey symbol. Gets a little wonky because of this, because they did continue some details out. So some poses, it might look like that spider's got a bunch of legs, but honestly, it looks really good. Painted pretty well, too, along with the silver webbing on the back. Then you got, God damn, Toby. He packing cake and he packing thighs. Like, if y'all think Tom was caked up, just look at Toby. He is packing Not just in the booty, but in them thighs, too. There's a reason why his legs are a little awkward to pose. But yeah, he got, again, that nice texture throughout. And they come down to his legs. It's plain, there's nothing going on, but, I mean, what else would there be going on? But yeah, look at them thunder thighs, bro. Just bringing in Tom, look at that. Look at the size comparison, like, Toby does not skip leg day. They come down to his feet, which again have more of that beautiful silver webbing, and oh, this figure's just really great. Now, for articulation, he has some great articulation. He has a dumbbell joint again, which looks pretty decently up and kind of down. Bobs, rotates, and the neck is a separate piece, as you can see here. Like, if you bring it too far back, it does separate, and I think that's where they'll be having the unmasked heads. It'll be kind of like the Thanos Iron Man Endgame 2-pack from the Infinity Saga wave, where he had the alternative leg head, and like the Talos, where like he'll have a neck swap out too. But yeah, then he has his arms come out really far. Come on, be in focus. Rotates. Dumbbell joint, which, not dumbbell joint, butterfly joint, which moves pretty far back, but not the best forward. But if you bring it in, like, you can get it going pretty far. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and of course, I don't even think I need to acknowledge it, but he's pinless. They're all pinless. Hinge up and down in rotation. I love this silver so much on all the hands. And then you got the newer type joint, and this Spidey might be the one that does it the best. He's got a diaphragm joint, which moves that far forward, that far back. I said it the wrong way. Rotates, kind of clicky, and then does it and bobs side to side. But then he has an ab crunch, and it just moves so far forward. You can get such good range. Look at that. This, and of course, again, it's painted all the way down to. Toby probably is the one that does it the best. He does it better than him. He does it better than Andrew. I think the only other one that's even on the same level is, let me grab him real quick. Bully Maguire himself, Black Suit Spidey. Let me just do a quick comparison. He moves further down. So yeah, this Toby, like I said, has just beautiful upper body articulation. Then you get to the legs, and they're a little wonky because of his thighs. But I do believe he has vague drop-down hips. So he can kind of move that far forward. Can bring it up a bit, but starts to go out. Not really back at all, because again, he's packing cake. And you can have him do the splits pretty well. But yeah, when you bring it in, it'll be like that. So you gotta like shift them up a bit. Thigh rotation. Double jointed knee. Goes up that far, kick him in the booty hole. You're seeing it. It's a little, the rocker's a little clicky for some reason. Like, you can hear it. I don't know why. So yeah, this Toby Maguire figure is phenomenal. But now it's time for the main event. The figure I was most hyped for because I love this. Is my favorite live action Spidey suit. It's time for the Garf. This figure's phenomenal. It's a little hard to see because he's got a darker red, which I do really like. Yeah, this might need to bring out the light a bit more. Yeah, he's got like a darker red, and a lot of people were saying it's too dark, but honestly, it's accurate to the movie, and I like that he has a darker red. Like, bringing in the other Spideys, like, they're very bright red, so the darker red really stands out. Also, like how, like, Tom has, like, the least amount of webbing. Toby's kind of in the middle, but then Andrew just goes crazy with it. But yeah, this might be my new favorite Legends figure. It is amazing. It is phenomenal. Let's just get right into it. And get right into that head sculpt. Let's bring the light over a bit. It's kind of hard to see, but that head sculpt is beautiful. I am trying my hardest to get the lighting to look decent. Lord have mercy. But yeah, that head sculpt is perfect. Hold up. Oh, I can up the brightness. I've now realized, and I've forgotten you can do this. You can up the brightness on the camera while recording. Wow, that would have been useful a while ago when I was reviewing all those Black Panther figures. And just in general, okay, so we've been struggling with lighting all this video when I could have done that. The more you know. Can you tell these aren't the greatest quality YouTube videos? But yeah, that head sculpt, oh my god, I love it so much. That mask is just so good. And it's hard to tell on here because of all the lighting, but he has a very, like, pearlescent, like, paint on the, white for the eyes. So it's not just straight white. It's, like, got a pearlescent, shiny white, which just looks so good, dude. Can you tell I love this suit so much? It's got, the proportions are perfect. He's got, the texturing isn't as prominent on the red as Toby's, but the blue's texturing is way more prominent, and it just looks so good. And then you got the nice webbing, which is painted pretty much perfectly on this suit and this figure. It just looks so good. And of course he has the black webbing, which looks really good. Come down to his spider symbol. This is my only complaint. I wish his torso was a bit more flat like the figure arts. But I'm not buying. I know, like, I will be gushing about the figure arts Miles and Gwen in my next 2 reviews, but these figures are so good that I don't even want the figure arts. Like, I don't care. These are perfect for me. The only time I'll go figure arts is if they either just made a character that Hasbro hasn't done yet, like Green Goblin, or their version is just so infinitely better than the Legends one, like Spider-Gwen in 2099. But, like, dude. But yeah, the only problem with him, I wish it was a bit flat, and the spider symbol does get cut off because the legs are at the bottom there, so it's a little hard to line it up, but honestly, like, I'm nitpicking at this point. This figure looks so good. Like, oh, look at all the webbing up there. It's painted beautifully. I love the shade of red. It's got, like, a very cherry red, which I love. Oh my god, it looks so good. I'm just geeking out right now. I love it so much. And look at how crazy the webbing is on this suit. It's insane. And you can really tell with the lights right now, like that texturing throughout the blue on the suit. It looks so good. Then come down to his back. He's got his back symbol, which is painted really well. Again, gets cut off a bit, but it still looks good. He got all that beautiful texturing. Oh my god, I love this figure so much. And it gets a little, like, for all of them, when you get to the butterfly joint, the sculpt gets a little messed up in the details, but it still looks pretty good, and they do paint, like, everything in the butterfly joint, which looks nice. Come down to his arms, and I always thought it was funny how, like, Toby's has, like, this thick red that's, like, comes all the way around like this, but then Andrew has, like, just only this very thin red coming down, but it looks really good. Then come down to his forearms, which look good. And they even sculpted the web shooters. Oh my god, it looks so good. Oh, I love this figure so much. Such a subtle detail, and I love it so much. How many times have I said I love this figure? It's just... This 3-pack is worth it just for this figure alone. And the people that have been dragging on Toby, I feel like they're being way too much. That figure is phenomenal as well. Come down to his legs. Got some nice slight defined musculature with that beautiful texture. Look at me trying to use some big boy words like slight defined musculature. Then come down to his feet, and this is the only area where I do have a slight paint mishap. It's just, you can tell right there, like, the black kind of isn't lined up just on that one line. But rather than that, it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh yeah, and here's Andrew's cake. And he doesn't really have any. It is what it is. It is what it is. Not all of us are packing cake. Not all of us are Miguel O'Hara. And it is what it is. But yeah, he looks up that far, looks down that far, bobs, rotates all the way around. Arm moves out pretty far, rotates. He has a butterfly, of course. The butterflies aren't perfect, but, you know, they help when you get them into some dynamic poses. Arm rotation, double jointed elbow, and like all the other hands, he's got a hinge in and out and rotation. He crunches that far forward. The diaphragm joint and ab crunch don't really work the best on this figure. That's why Toby's is better. Like, he can get pretty far back, and for some reason the sculpt just, like, ends there. I think because of how far back it goes. But he can't really get him going forward the best. But hey, it is what it is. You can rotate it and bob it, and it still works really well. Drop down hips and legs kick that far forward. Not really far back, even though he doesn't have cake. He can do the splits really well. But again, when you bring it forward, it looks like that, so you got to bring him back up. Thigh rotation, double jointed knee, can kick his booty. And you got a hinge up and down and a rocker. And it's not clicky on this one, so I don't know why Toby's was like that. And also, because there's so much going on, I realized I didn't talk about the alternative hands for the other two. So we'll quickly go over that. Toby has alternative, like, fist and thwip hands, as you can see here. Same with Andrew. And they're painted really well. But then you get to the wall crawling hands. And for Andrew, the first one, it's an average wall crawling hand, looks really good. But then this one, he's kind of got like a slight curve to them. And it makes me think that maybe this hand can kind of hold the web thing. Like if you bring it in here, you can kind of get him holding it. Which is good, but it's a bunch of hair. Because I have like 50 cats in my house. So it's interesting that's sculpted like that. Then you come to Toby, and his aren't sculpted like that at all. The first one is way more flat. Again, that beautiful silver. But then you got one with his fingers are like bent like that. So it's interesting that they didn't just have like the same type of hand pose. They actually gave them, at least Toby and Andrew, all unique, like wall crawling hand sculpts, which is interesting. Getting them all in here for the size comparison. Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot about that. It dawned on me while I was doing the body articulation for him, so if I started rambling and insane crazies, my bad. So for comparison, let's just get the normal ones out the way. Here they all are next to Moon Knight and next to... Oh wait, what am I doing? I'm losing my mind. And here he is next. Here they are. I keep saying, because I'm used to just reviewing one guy. Next to an average Voyager class. Shockwave just took out Toby. Here they are next to Shockwave and an average Black Series scale. Next to a Camino Clone Trooper. So yeah, Tom is definitely the smallest one. If it isn't overtly obvious. And next to a Jazzwares Halo and McFarlane DC, here they are next to the Flash and Master Chief. And I brought this Flash out because I do think it's cool that I do have like these three Flashes. So like you can kind of have like the three Flashes, the three different Flashes and the three different Spideys. I thought that was cool because like I got all those Flash figures and I realized like, oh, it's kind of like the No Way Home trio, except not nearly as cool. Now, time for some just fun comparisons. Here they are next to some Spider-Verse figures, 2099 and Peter B. Parker. My previous review, I don't know why I said our. I'm getting confused with the wordings. Here they are next to Spot, really dope figure. 'Cause why not? Venom. He was in the movie, but he really wasn't. Wish we got to see Venom interact with them, at least in the final act. That would have been really cool. Here they are next to the Amazing Fantasy Spidey. And next to the, normal generic Tom Holland suit. And I hope they do paint the webbing on the final swing suit. That hopefully will be in the rumored wave. Also, here they are next to the figure arts Gwen and Miles. Those will be my next reviews. And finally, I don't have a Toby figure to compare. So we're going to just move Toby to the side. Because this is the main event we're comparing them to. Here they are next to the old release of this Tom Holland and the original Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield. I'm surprised that thing's standing. And yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this thing's terrifying. I barely even touch it because it looks like if I even bend the elbows, this thing will shatter into pieces. And just moving them all out, I just want to bring these two together real quick and just acknowledge, look at how much Hasbro has improved since, like, what was it, 2014? 2014, 2023. Look at the huge improvement there. Like, you might drag on, like, how Hasbro's doing some, like, stuff with recent Legends, but with the pricing and everything, but you can't deny that the quality has shot up so far in the past pretty much 10 years. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at how, like, phenomenal this looks, and compared to this, it's crazy how far we've come. We are truly, even though the prices are hell, we are truly living in, like, the golden age of action figures. Peak Transformers, peak Marvel, peak Star Wars figures, and it's only getting better. Oh my god. And this 3-pack just puts my faith back in that Hasbro can make some phenomenal figures. And I definitely needed that after those Spider-Verse figures, because I ain't even gonna lie, those were really disappointing. Which is weird, because, like, Hasbro's been on such a high with a lot of the figures that those not being that great was very shocking. But this 3-pack is phenomenal. So, do I recommend this 3-pack? 100%. I passionately love all 3 of them. I've had this 3-pack for about 2-3 weeks, and I love them so much. This is probably my new favorite Marvel Legends. Sorry, Moon Knight, you're getting dethroned. I love that this Tom Holland's a fantastic improvement on the original. The Toby, even though people have been, like, roasting it, it looks great. And if you do repaint it to maybe get the colors darker and give it a new head, you can make the perfect figure. I've seen people do, like, some washes over this and give it a more accurate, like, Raimi trilogy head, and it looks phenomenal. And this figure, this is just amazing. A lot of people have been ripping on them for not having toe articulation, but honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I love these so much. They're 100% worth it. You know, it's worth getting Peter 1, Peter 2, and Peter 3. And I can't wait to be reviewing these guys probably in a couple more months when they get single releases. And I'll be equally as enthusiastic. It came out to about $100, but it was, like, the best $100 I've spent in my life, next to the $180 I've spent on these two. But yeah, they're 100% worth it. I highly, highly recommend them. I just love them so much. You've been seeing how it is. I've just been gushing about number 1, the movie, and these figures for like 40 minutes now. So I'm going to try to bring this to a close. Like, subscribe, check out my previous reviews. Check out my Instagram, MoonEdXO. You can get you can see a bunch of different pics of these guys, like teasers for upcoming reviews, just art and posts I make, and you can just talk to me there. So yeah, that's about it. I didn't really get to fit too many No Way Home jokes, mostly because I haven't seen the movie since it dropped, but I have watched those clips so many times. I love that movie, and I love these figures. And if you love the movie and you just love these Spideys in general, you really owe it to yourself to get these guys. Like, this whole 3-pack is worth, like, 1 figure art, so I would, even though the figure arts do look good, I think these are perfect, and I really recommend them. I love them so much, especially this Andrew. Oh, okay, I'm gonna end the video now because I could keep talking about these figures in this movie for the next hour. They're great. Oh my god, I love them so much. Anyways, hope you have a beautiful day, and peace out. I do the whole peace out thing, but there's 3 of them, and I don't have 3 arms. So pretend like they all did the little, like, peace out thing. Peace.